Hello aspirants, welcome to EduRev. I am Gogula Rajashekar, your faculty for Modern Indian History. So we are discussing a chapter called Advent of Europeans. So this chapter we divided into three sections. In the previous video, we discussed about the factors which are responsible for the advent of Europeans into India. Now, in this video, we are going to look at the chronology, that is the order of their advent into India and their settlements in India. Alright, so let us begin. The Portuguese are the first to arrive into India. See, during the times of Renaissance, because of the technological innovations, the trade, communications and transport was enormously expanded. And the Portuguese ruler called Henry the Navigator, he has patronized many geographical expeditions, and a Portuguese sailor named Vasco da Gama has taken one of such geographical expedition in 1498. He has travelled from Portugal to India by circumventing this entire Africa and Cape of Good Hope. This location is called Cape of Good Hope. And he reached India in 1498 at a location called Calicut in Kerala. Alright, from here he has filled his cargo with a lot of Indian goods and spices which he sold in Europe for huge profits. Like he got profits of 16 times. Clear? So 60 times of profits, it's a very huge, and that has attracted. Now they have an alternative route which is a sea route and which is a cheaper one and which is less harsh than this land route. Clear? So because of that, many Portuguese travelers and traders, they entered into India and they started settling in the western coast of India. So their main settlements in India include Daman and Diu, Dadra Nagar and Haveli, and Elephanta Caves in Mumbai, Goa and Mahe, Kozhikode, etc. So entire western coast was occupied by the Portuguese. So because of this trade, prosperous trade, other Europeans were also interested towards India. So the other Europeans followed the Portuguese. So let us see who are the next to come to India. The second ones to visit India for the trade are the Dutch people. They are the modern Netherlands people who are highly professional in banking and trade. And they entered into India in 1605. They have established their first factory in Machilipatnam or Masolipatnam in Andhra Pradesh. So by then the Portuguese were well established in the western coast. So the ultimate choice left to the Dutch people were the eastern coast. So they settled in the eastern coast of India, which is Machilipatnam, Pulicat, Karakkail, etc. So these locations. And they were mainly interested in trade, but however, due to the rivalry with the other Europeans like Portuguese and the British, they had to vacate these locations and move to some other areas. So that we are going to discuss in the coming video. Alright, so rivalry with the British, which made their dominance almost insignificant in India. So the third persons to come to India are the Britishers. The story of the British is little bit interesting, because the ruler of the British, Queen Elizabeth, she has given an exclusive right to trade in the eastern locations to East India Company. So it is a private company to trade, so of the British, and it has been given the exclusive right to trade in the eastern locations. See, suppose this is your British. So all the locations like including India falls east of the British. So the East India Company got the exclusive right to trade with all the locations here. So they have got the Farman. Farman means a royal decree, royal order, and during those times Jahangir was ruling over India. So he has given this order to the East India Company, and with that they have established their first factory in a location called Surat. So on the western coast. So later on they moved to other locations. We will see that story in the next section. And by 1615, so they got a system called Dastak system. So it is a trade privilege system whereby trade privilege system whereby the Britishers can trade with the entire Mughal Empire. Clear? So this system they got in 1615. So as a result, they started settling in the coastal regions, initially in the western coast, then they moved to the eastern coast, such as next important center became Kolkata, which is in the Bengal, right? Then another important location became Madras. So these three, Mumbai, Bengal and Madras, these three are the important locations of the British. So their settlement started with the coastal regions and slowly it has spread to other locations, so to the hinterland of India, by using their different policies of divide and rule. Clear? So this is how their settlements have spread to all over India. Now some of the important facts here you have to remember that they have built certain forts in order to consolidate their trade. For example, Fort William was built in Kolkata. So here they have built a fort called Fort William, and in Madras they have built Fort Saint George. Please remember these names of the forts because they were asked in the prelims. Their locations will be asked in the prelims. And one important thing, please rectify this map representation. This Pakistan occupied Kashmir is part of India. So I have taken this picture from the Wikipedia. So there is a mal representation. Alright. Then there was a rivalry of this British with the Portuguese, Dutch and French who came later. And among these, French have given a tough fight, but however British has emerged as victorious. So because of their superiority and their prosperous trade, they have started actively participating in the political affairs of India. And after Battle of Plassey and Battle of Buxar, which happened in 1757 and 1764 respectively, British East India Company got the Diwani rights and it has ruled from 1765 to 1857. So this rule is by the East India Company, which is a trade company. So remember this. So till 1857, trade company has ruled over India. After 1857, the British Crown has ruled over India till the independence of India. So this is the story of it. Clear? So please remember rest of the things like the rivalry with the French, everything we are going to coming in the next video where we'll be discussing the rivalry among Europeans. Next came the French. They entered into India late in 1668. So they established their first settlement in Surat. So by then Surat was vacated by the British because they moved to other three locations which we discussed earlier. Now their settlements mainly include the eastern coast, the pink portion, right, which was highlighted here. So why? Because these locations were vacated by the Dutch people. Earlier Dutch people has established over here, but because of the rivalry they have moved to other countries and these locations were occupied by the French, right? Main locations are Yanam in this region and Pondicherry, Karakai, etc. Clear? Now, like the British, French also wanted a political dominance. That's why there was a rivalry with the British. So this rivalry was fought in epic battles known as Carnatic Wars. Carnatic Wars, which we are going to discuss in the further classes. Alright, so this is the story of all the Europeans. Apart from that, Danish people also came. Danish people means the present day Denmark and Norway people, but however they were not continuous, they were sporadic and very short span. That's why we are not going to discuss them here, right? So this is the story. To sum it up, I have kept all the settlements in one location. This picture has been taken from Wikipedia. So the western coast has been occupied by the Portuguese, right? Then eastern coast mainly the earlier Dutch, then later it was displaced by the French. Then three important centers like the Kolkata and here Mumbai province and Madras province, right? It is by the British. Then later British spread to all over India, all over the subcontinent, right? So this is the story and their settlements in India. Now how to remember this chronology? So to that I have a question for you. The question is, arrange the following European powers advent into India in a chronological order. The powers are Dutch, British, French and Portuguese. So please remember, there is a trick to remember it. You might have heard about PDF, portable document file. So here P, D, and before F, remember E comes. So please remember this mnemonic shortcut P, D, E, F. So from here, how can we remember? P stands for Portuguese, D stands for Dutch people, E stands for English, that is the British, and F for French. So with this we can solve this question. So the first is the Portuguese, so D option is there in two options, right? Then after D, A, it is present in both the options, but in the third location we have the British, which is B, so that is present in the second option. So the correct answer is DABC, which is option number 2. So this is the method of elimination. So if you have less knowledge, you can go with this elimination process in order to get to a accurate answer as well. It is going to help in the prelims. So this is it, guys. I hope you understood it. If you have any doubts, do comment. We will get back to you. Thank you very much for watching. So we'll see you in the next video.